We grow up with this kind of idea that there's one path that's your path, that's the right one, that's the one you do. And everything else you do is possibly a mistake. And then you're going to have to go off a little while, and then it's going to take you a long time to get back on your path. So let me give you another little story, but this is the true story. And the other story we had was the story that gave us this very predictable pathway that was very defined and possibly defined by who our parents are and what they did and where we grew up and all our stories of our human being and the people around us. If we think about why we've done that as a human species, it's really just to help us to feel safe. Go to school for these amount of years, and then we meet the boy, and then we go out with him for so long, and then we get engaged, and then we get married, and then we must have the babies, then we must have this. And it's like these little timelines, these expectations of timelines. And if you don't hit them, it's like, oh, there's something wrong with me. And everyone else is getting it right, but I'm not. And that to me is such a cruel way of perceiving life as we go forward. And it's a perfectly acceptable way for how we have grown up as a species to this point, because really what we were doing right up until this point was just trying to survive. Mm-hmm. And the survival code requires us to fit in, to do the same, to be very, very predictable. We don't want any variables. We don't want anything that's outside the box. And we all do it on time, and everyone's got to fit in like a mechanism, a little cog. So we know that idea grew up because we had this idea of having to survive, and we had to be very, very clear about how we were going to survive. And the other reason we did it was so that we didn't incur more anxiety, because people were living on the edge of survival and it was terrifying. So if everyone knew you'd be home at this time and you were doing that at the next, everyone would calm down to a degree, because it was very set, very predictable. And that's what we've come in. We've come in with that legacy of that story. And then something happens along the way. We get shaped and pushed and prodded and must, should, have to, and put into these little boxes and these requirements. That's who we are. We're free, we're clear, we're creative, we're beautiful, we're inspired, we're unique. We are our own creation and our own spark of life. So here we are as this beautiful bright spark. And then as we go along, it's like a funnel. We're free and open, and it just gets tighter, and especially as we move into adulthood and then into the next parts of our life, because now we go, I've got to hit these markers. These are the markers that say I'm a success, that I'm worthwhile, that my life and me are meaningful. And if I don't hit them, there's something wrong with me. We are this little spark of light. For a long time, when we come into this earth existence, we forget that we're that. And there's a reason why we must forget it, so that we can have a human experience. Then you can imagine that there are many stratas as light beings. And as we are opening ourselves into higher vibrations through an experience, through a life experience, we're unfolding our beautiful self. We're coming into higher and higher vibrations. The higher your vibration here, and the lower you have to go to do a human story, this vibration is low. It's like, bleh, like that. And this one goes up the scale to that very high note. If your note is high and you've got to pull down your note, your vibration to fit in here, you can imagine how hard that is for your form. There's a part of us that remembers it. So we're not here to fit in. We're not here to get into these routines and pathways that are predictable and the same. We're here to bring a light into it. And that's the gift of this journey, of us being here. We are the gift for this journey. We are already complete, beautiful, light, high vibration, clear, intuitive, creative beings. We're already that. We don't have to fix ourselves and become something. We just have to find a way to be able to bring our energy and match to a degree that we can manage, so that we can bring the light into a very dark place. Just being here, you just being here, is the greatest gift that you are giving to life. And the words that I hear for us, these beautiful light workers, is that we must hold gracious space, because we are the gracious ones with the energy of grace and divine light. And we must hold gracious space. So we just have to come in, be here, and be here. What we do doesn't matter. We can do this, we can do that, we can do just about anything. We can sweep a street, we can run a country, we can do anything in between that spectrum. Doesn't matter. Not one dot to who you are as your light being. You're not trying to become a higher vibration. You already are. You're here to help. You can hear that. You can reframe your life and reconnect to your life. Then see this picture. If we are having this human experience and it looks a little bit like walking in this very dark, tangly forest, where all the trees are grabbing and snagging and tripping and falling over each other. We just don't know what the hang we're doing down here. And imagine that that's you in that mess, this quagmire of all of the story. And one day you just stop and you say, I can't do this anymore. And we've all come to those stopping points where we just say, I can't do it anymore. This is ridiculous. I need my light back on. The moment we stop playing the human game and we think this is all it is, and we say, I need something else. You can only know that you need something else if you are something else, my sweetheart. You wouldn't know that if you were not already that something else. When your heart tells you, I don't like this, not happy, and we blame and shame ourselves for not being happy and not liking it, just change that story. You don't like it. I'm not happy. I don't fit in. Because I don't fit in. Because there's a part of me that knows this is not the story and it's not truth. You could do nothing at all. So now hear this part. Okay, so now you stop in the tangly forest, and I can't go on. Not another step can I do this story. And you just stop. And the moment you stop, the fight is over. The struggle is over. This need to survive and pursue and do and show up and achieve and accomplish and validate, you just stop. There's no more clawing and reaching and pushing and pulling. Can you feel that energy when you just stop? And you take a breath. And when you take a breath, something in you reminds you who you are. The light that you are now can speak to you and say, I don't love this. Just like switching on a flashlight in a dark night, your beam opens up in front of you. At that point, your life begins truly for what it is that you're here to do. It's like a chapter, all these chapters up to this point of the experiencing ourself in a form, being informed so that we can perform with each other. Then we get more information, and the performing and the informing goes on and on and on and on the tangled forest. And then we stop and we say, no, there's something else. I've got to bring something into the space. We don't know what that is. It's us. We're the one. We came to do this. So we are divinely, these are the words, I am divinely and uniquely encoded within for the magnificence of this life journey. The moment you said as this beautiful light being that I will, yes, I'll go and do the story. I'll go and do it. I'll go and help. These people are stuck. They're never going to get out. They're just in the dark. They can't find their way. The moment you agree to that, you are given every code, every gift, every skill to do this life magnificently, You are encoded with it. You don't have to become anything. You don't have to learn anything. You are it already. You're there, and you remember that you are the light. And your solar plexus, where you were given all these keys and these codes, it opens up like a light. It's a magnetic field, and it shines out in front of you just like a flashlight does in a dark night. And if you were the holder of that flashlight, and you could sit there right there in the dark, and you could say, but I'm still too scared to go, because if I look down there, the light becomes dim and I'm terrified. I don't want to walk because it just looks like it's getting dark. But if we get up and we take a step forward, the light goes one step further. And we take 2 steps and it goes 2 steps further along. The light is ahead of us, and we are the light illuminating that path, finding our way. And then this is the best part, that if you were standing in that space and you were holding the flashlight and you said, well, I think I might like to go this way, and you switch on your light and you go this way, you're lighting up that path. And then you go, I think I might like to go this way. Switch on your light, you light up that path. Oh, look at that. And then you turn this way and you light up that light, and you can do that path. 360 degrees of pure potential lie around you. Hear that. No wrong, no right, no good, no bad, no better, no worse, no story. No story. All you have to do is be here, because you've already got the coding, and be here in whatever way makes you happy. Light this way up, wonderful. Light that way up, wonderful. Just something's coming through you, we don't know. It's going to unfold as we move along. Things are unfolding in all the light workers. Things are awakening in them. There's a deep sadness. There's a deep longing and a deep yearning. And you know that to the depth of your soul, because that is your absolute truth, my love. This is not you. You're here in this beautiful angel-like form, this beautiful gift of this body and this being. You are here as a gift for the story here. Those who are in this layer, this heavy, dense vibrational field, and maybe are just in this strata, maybe they're just one step up, they can assimilate into this and they can make it work because it's known to them. It's very close to their level of awareness and their level of knowing. 2 steps up, yes, we can do it too. They can do it. They can bring their energy down a bit, but find solace, and they walk in the mountains like, oh, okay, that's better. And then they get back into the human story of the higher your layer of energy, your vibrational field is, the harder it is. And every time you feel this disparity, this duality, every time you feel it, remember that because you can feel it, because it feels so wrong, you are so right. You are so perfect, because you know that this is not okay. It's not okay. And our job to be here in the form, to be in form, to perform, is so that we can transform. That's our job. We're bringing light into a very dark place so that the light can come on. That's what we're here to do. The only way that you can be in this space is first not participate in all the drama karma, because that'll just wear you out and make you feel completely sick. So not participate. Don't do the news. Don't do the gossip. Don't do the headlines. Don't do any of those things. Just pull yourself out. You're not part of that. You're not the story. You're a light that came in to help the story. And so my gift to me is not participate. I don't watch the news. I don't follow any of this stuff. I focus on why I'm here. Why am I here? It's to hold a higher vibration. And whatever feeds my soul, nourishes my being, supports me in that, that's what I do. If I know that eating beautifully supports me, then I do that. If I know walking on the beach or in the mountains or in the trees supports me, I do that. If I know that only having relationships of high integrity and honesty, I do not open my door to any story. When I'm working with my clients, I don't do any history. I don't want to know their history. I just want to look at their soul. I want to look at their energy signature and their imprint. I want to look at what they're here for and remind them why they're here. I work with light beings, predominantly light beings, because that's who I want to remind. I want us to remember who we are. We've got to remember. We've got to help each other remember. So all those things that help me to be able to be here, to want to breathe, because there's some days where it feels like, oh my gosh, I can't even breathe. It's so heavy and sticky. Then I just be in the space and I breathe. I gentle myself down. I relax. I meditate. I hold the space. I do whatever I have to do to care for me. And then I remember why I'm here. I'm here to teach. I'm here to uplift. That's my journey. I could be here just to help one person. One person is connected to millions of other people. It's one drop that creates a ripple. If I'm here for one person, that's more than worthwhile. It's got nothing to do with us achieving and doing and accomplishing and hitting all these little markers that say, aren't you wonderful? Aren't you a productive human being? Been there, done that. We did this eons and eons ago. We did this journey. Showing up and doing the human story. It takes a long time to get your energy higher and higher, your frequency. Every time it's like a circle. You imagine a circle that just goes around and around, a little bit like what we're all doing is our human story. You know, when you got those LP records and they had a scratch on them and then it would play, go and then kdunk, and then play again, and then kdunk, locks you in like that. But if we had this spiral, and if at the point where we're about to go kadunk and hit it again and play the same game again, which is what you see everybody in pattern, watch the patterns, then you know they got locked, they're stuck, they're in a circle. But if at that point where it's about to reconnect, we raise our energy, then we open a spiral. And that is what we want to do, elevate the energy because of this that we know, because of the pain that's here. There is a way to lift the energy and then do it again, and then lift the energy and then do it again. Those lifts, these layers of strata, and where you are upon it is how many times you've elevated out of a consciousness into a higher consciousness because you've been aware, you've been awakened, you know. No one will ever be able to put you to sleep. You will never not remember who you are. You will always, always, to your last breath, you will remember who you are, and you will hold that gift of who you are. You're just a gift. So hold your heart with compassion. That's the way to be here, is to hold the space, open your heart to compassion. Remember that here it's a terrible struggle. People are falling over each other. They just don't know where to go. Honestly, they lost. And when we lost and we're scared, we drop into the low, low frequency of surviving. Survival has got every torment and every pain in it. If you know any of those torments and pain, you know exactly where to work. You just open up your heart. If you've experienced loss and you go, there's loss. I understand what that is as this human being loss, but you know it on another level too, because you've lost your light home for a little while. You've come away from it for a little while. That loss, that homesickness is loss. That grieving for home, that's loss. And if you experience that in your own human capacity and from your light being, and you know that there's something else, channel it in to where the wound is. You send this vibration of compassion and kindness and love. May all beings be well. May all beings begin to see and find their way. May we all remember. It's a beam of light. There's no way for me to explain how powerful that light is. It saves lives. It honestly is like a laser beam that comes out of nowhere and just saves a life right there. That's how powerful it's a holding of gracious space. Imagine that you could save a lot of souls from the deep hopelessness and the depression and the sadness and the sense of being lost and alone and forgotten, not fitting in. People are so desperate in that space. Children are so desperate. If you know that pain, you can feel it, you can heal it. We have that experience so that we can transform it. That's why we have it. It reminds us of the point of pain, and that's the point that we came in to work in. Where the point of pain is, that's where we come to work. 360 degrees of pure potential lie around you. All the pathways that you choose to take when you are standing in your center, fully illuminated, connected to your higher self, standing upon this earth. I'm here for as long as I am here, and I promise you it is such a short journey. But if we can just go out of this timeline and come up to that timeline, we can see how quick it is. And then we can let go of all the clutter underneath it, and we can get the point. What's the point? Get that. Capture it quickly. And go, oh yeah, that's the point of that. And you can just feel it in your heart. Whatever your heart says is truth, longing, desire, yearning, that's truth. Your head's coming into saying, oh, I should do this, I must do that. Just throw all the head thoughts away. I promise you they're always going to be wrong. If your head's involved, it's always going to be wrong. Rely on your head for creating lists, for getting momentum to do stuff. I'm going to phone this person. I'm going to get this computer. I'm going to get this microphone. Then I can start teaching online. Then I can do this. And that's what your head is for. It's great. But before your head starts any of what should I do, your heart's going to feel the inspiration. Connect with your heart. What is it that I'm here to do? And if you've got no idea, that's great. If you can say to yourself, I've got no idea, oh my gosh, you know how wonderful that is. That means the head hasn't locked you into a story that it knows is going to be the same, a little predictable story, because that's what the head does. It says, I'm going to give you a new idea, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it looks like it's all brand new, shiny, with new bells and whistles and bows. Meantime, it's exactly the same story. And we hook into, we go, oh yeah, that's nice. That sounds new. And we get a little bit excited and we motivated for about 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then we suddenly go, oh my gosh, it's the same story. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So if you have no idea what the next step is, you're in great land of potential. And the head is only going to tell you what is for survival, because that's the code that we've been living in up to now. There's a whole nation of people saying, we'll get up, we go to work, we do this, we do that, and everything's structured. Everything's going along like a nice little clock, nice little mechanism, everything's going great. But you want to capture these people and capture their energy and render them immobile and gain dominance and manipulation. All you have to do is throw in one little tiny dart of fear on the news. Oh, people, there is a what's it. And everybody goes like this and terrified. Everybody who's in their head, everyone who's in their heart will go compassion. How can I help? How can I uplift? Let me go and help. Everyone else is terrified, hiding under their beds. Once you see it, when you see the game, you can't be in the game. You're out the game. You can't be hooked. And judgment comes from fear. We don't want to be different, because to be different means that you're not fitting in the system. If you're not fitting in the system can't function, and we're all going to die. So you've got to fit in or get out. And that's part of the fear, that you'll lose something. But is it possible that if this whole thing coming in here is a setup for us to grow into awareness, Is it possible then that the ones who are giving us the contrary message, the ones who are rattling our awareness to say, no, this is not right, this is not the way it should be, the ones who are judging, are also here as part of a setup? Okay for them to play that role. And then we go out of judgment right there. We go like, wow, phew, getting an Oscar, way to go. It's just a setup so that we will elevate our awareness, our consciousness. We got stuck in the form and we're trying to raise the elevation of it. We could all just stay light beings. This strata is going to stay stuck because the density of the story was stuck in while we were in form, while we were in this human form. We locked in trauma and pain and hate and war and greed, jealousy and hunger and torture. We locked it in here. So that's what we're vibrating in. We're vibrating in a soup of misery. Just switch on the light. You are the light. Find yourself thinking about you, your life, your journey, your reason for being. You are here because you agreed to be here. That's part of your divine and sacred agreement. You said you would come, you said you would be here, and you said you would take this journey. And here you are. And you are given every gift, every single gift you were given to do this journey superbly. We just got to take ourselves out the mud, remember, see the light, and come into that higher vibration. So you can imagine if a few people put down ramps to get out the mud. They have these little ramps and these decks where people can climb onto and go, oh, phew, I'm out the mud now. And once we're out the mud, we can start to look and see what's around us. But when we're in the mud, we're just gasping for every breath and trying not to get pulled down by everyone underneath us. Think about you providing these ramps, these platforms, and how that will support and uplift, because these kiddies that are coming through, the light workers, are on a unique mission. They are not to fit into the story. Mechanization is the greatest disservice that we've created, and we know we did it so that we can be safe. So just think of it like a trajectory. This is the survival trajectory. We've been doing that through eons of time, and this is the thriving trajectory. The crescendo is feeling like it's here. When we had all the space between that base of the triangle, we had a lot of time to recover. Bing, bong, bing, bong. Then we get here, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, 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 all together. High note, all happening at the same time. It feels like that because we are right here. We're at the tipping point. We've got to decide as a species, do we survive? We're not going to survive. We're killing each other. We're killing our earth. This is not the trajectory. It's going to take us nowhere. Into the ether capacious forever and ever, and that's the end of that. Or we hop on to where our hearts have been pulling us towards for all this time, with mercy and love and compassion, collaboration. We want to hop onto that one. We're so close. We are so close to that choice. The crescendo, the more it crescendos, the more it feels exaggerated, the more you will know that we are getting closer and closer. And all it takes is one person in every family to remember, just one person. One drop in a body of water becomes this beautiful ripple, not because we say, oh, please make a ripple. It just does. We're making a ripple just by being conscious and clear and here. Conscious and clear and here. And from this moment grows the next moment and grows the next moment. It's that flashlight. So just know that you've got it, you're in it, you are it. You are holding this light. Everything is opening up in front of you. Your heart is a magnetic field that is so powerful that they are just starting to understand how powerful our hearts are. Our mind is an electro field, so it's like static. But if you can harness this, all the static energy, and put it into your heart, know why you're here, remember what your soul's purpose is, and you start opening your heart, this magnetic field draws it towards you. It cannot not draw it towards you. Your heart is that powerful.